more than welcome to jump right in after Rebecca. What specific classroom management techniques do you find to be the most successful in your Grace Kids class? How do you specifically utilize the Give Me 5 technique?
So I can start. I think classroom management for teachers is probably the most important role that we have. I think, the assistants and the junior assistants, they're really there to help kind of facilitate, but really understanding how the classroom needs to flow really makes it a great class or somewhat challenging class. So some of the things I will talk about the Give Me 5 technique at the first part of every single class, because we have so many kids that some come, some don't come. So I make sure that the expectation is laid out at the beginning of every single class so that they know, and they respond really well to it. So when I do say Give Me 5, they'll help me, talk about what the 5 different things are, which I think is really important. And then I think it's really important also to assess each class. So if you are volunteering on a regular basis, you'll get to know some of the kids that are in the classroom. Some kids don't interact well together. Some kids, are going to be really chatty together. Some kids, they play off of each other and cause trouble. So really understanding if you're breaking out into small groups or you're sitting at a table, hey, Joey and Nathan, why don't you guys sit on different sides of the room today? Or how about, if we're working to create groups, let me kind of divide that a little bit differently. So really understanding the group of kids that you have and working to make sure that they're set up in the best kind of way possible. And then really, I think another great classroom technique is taking the time in the beginning. Hopefully all of the volunteers have come a little bit early and say, oh, hey Brett, can you do craft today? Hey Jerry Ann, can you lead circle time? Hey, I'm gonna work on this today. So that everyone kind of has their role and responsibility. And so when things get a little crazy or some of the kids, are being a little challenging, or, hey, can you be the bathroom person today? We might have a lot of kids going to the bathroom. So really understanding at the beginning of the class what everyone's role is, I think is really important. So those are some of the techniques that I use.
Keith?
So we added 2 more to our groups that are Give Me 5. We actually say Give Me 7 now.
We're provided 7.
Yeah, the kids actually think it's funny now, right? But there was a lot with cell phones kind of being on. This is with the 4th and 5th graders now. So cell phones seem to be like when they have that time to kind of play around beforehand. When we get everybody together and start going over our expectation, it takes an extra few minutes with the cell phone. So that's one that we added on there.
Okay.
And the second one is slime, right? So slime,
Slime.
And slime is another big one that kind of surfaces, in our classroom. So now, especially for the 9:30 group, if anybody's doing 9:30 before the Give Me 7, they'll be able to. They know exactly what that is with the other 2.
They bring the slime with them.
They bring their slime with
Oh.
them to class.
Oh my.
Kids
We graduated from the fidget spinners a couple years ago.
Oh, that was
So now we are, the slime thing is kicking in. We added to one, number 4 says hands are free. We had to say hands and feet are free. So we had a little, just an asterisk there for that one. But I think as far as like technique-wise, some of the things that just to kind of keep in mind, especially with the 4th, the chatter going on. A lot of times if we're going through the lesson, I would stand right next to that particular area while they're, they chat, and that usually quiet down right away. So as a teacher in a group, if you notice, particular kids are talking a lot, kind of stand in that area. Utilizing your small group leaders to kind of either sit in those areas as well that students are talking in is important. Giving more opportunities for kids to kind of role play or be a part of the lesson. I think that part is important. They really don't want to have me up there talking the whole time. So we try to figure out how can we role play. A couple of lessons lately, you had kids kind of drawing up there, drawing characters, and you having discussions based on certain activities. So the more movement involved is good. I think the other thing with classroom manager, and what I'm hearing, it's great to hear so far, like going over the rules and expectations at the beginning of the class. that consistency is important. Now, I'm here every other Sunday, you know, so we get a consistent message when I'm here, and it's great to hear if all the teachers are doing the same thing with the pacing of the class. So kids know when they first come in, they know they need to sign in, they know there's some type of craft and activity, you get to play around for a few minutes or so, they know there's a time to come together, go through expectations, play a game, you have a story, you break off in small groups, we are going to pray, and then, you know, you play a game again. So if everybody's consistent on having that same format all the time, that really helps with the classroom management, because there's a proper, that pacing that's there, kids can get in tune with that one. Let's see if there was one more. The other thing that I find important is giving kids an opportunity to use the bathroom before the lesson starts. So the last couple of minutes while they're playing around, hey, you know, if you have to go to the bathroom now's the time to do it, you know, and things, because we've seen in the past, like once we start teaching, everybody gotta go to the bathroom. Right? I'm here for playing, but now, you know, so just have to make that announcement, like once we're about to start, like go to the bathroom now, and kind of go from there.
And check-in helps with that, especially with our class. They help to facilitate them going to the bathroom and bringing them back.
Right, yeah. So,
Just to piggyback on some of the things, like I think that clear expectations at the beginning of the class are key, and I think going back to what Brett said, like if you know a particular student's having a rough day, like pulling them aside, or having one of those small group leaders kind of pulling them aside, using that proximity, or having like that quick check-in, you're gonna have an awesome day today, I know it, you know, just really like, you know, praising behavior, especially if students are having a hard time, praising that great behavior, but also being firm but kind and loving when the students are not. And so one of the other techniques that I use is kind of like, I count them. It's like 3 chances. So I say, that's a 1. They know, and I go over this at the beginning as well. That's 1. That's your first warning. That's 2. That's your second warning. So you've had 2 times to kind of like turn it around. That's 3. We're really clear about, you know, we're here for an hour and 15 minutes. That if we get to that level of that's 3, we have to call your parents. And that's more for individual students who are really, you know, disruptive to the class. And I always, you know, preface it with, in all of my 9 years, I've only had to do that once. Like, so just really making it like normal that, you know, we're here to praise God, we're here to learn about God, but we're also here to, you know, do our best. And so I think that is also key.
I need to use that. I think I go right to 3. Just times in general group, I'm like, all right, I don't want to have to call your parents, but I might have to.
I know.
You know, like, and